did not pardon Nancy Pelosi. Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi was one of the people that slid the dagger in between his ribs. And I know this wasn't an omission on his part. I think he wanted to leave her wide open for prosecution, and good. I think she needs
Now,
to.
what would she be culpable for?
Oh, my
Let's
God, Dave.
see. She just confessed to refusing the 10,000 or so
National
troops
Guard.
that Trump offered her,
Yep.
and she confessed it to a reliable source, her own daughter, and it was videotaped.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nancy was left off of that dubious list of pardoned folks, and that was not an omission. That was intentional. This is a vindictive old man. I'm thoroughly pleased that I probably won't have to see his face or hear his voice again. Good. My life is better as a result of that.
Well, there's one person that's important, though, that got away. You know who that was?
That was Adam Schiff, right?
No. Joe Biden. He didn't pardon himself.
That was in my notes as well. I don't know.
Adam Schiff needs to go. He needs to be. Maybe he pissed him off too.
Possibly.
I mean, we've seen the Democrats basically destroy the Democratic Party. There is no Democratic Party anymore.
They pretty much cannibalize their own when times are tough. And I'm glad. I am a cheerleader on the side for this thing. Go ahead, eat each other. I'm happy about that. Trump's executive orders. Let's pop a couple of those that are rather interesting.
How many are there so far?
I do not know.
I think it's getting up there. I think it's probably around 100. I think he's still doing them. I mean, 200.
He is.
I said they're going to do 200. First it was 100. Then he's doing 200, and he's sitting there in front of a press, all the press, and he's signing these things off. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we're going to examine who killed John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King.
Well, that's another thing I was going to talk about. Since he has released those, it may be a couple of months before we see the totality of the text. But the one thing he didn't release, and I think he ought to, is Epstein's little black book. I would like to know whose names are on that. And maybe if the Democrats piss him off enough, he'll do just that. But there's a whole bunch of Democrat names in there and a whole bunch of Republicans, too. So back to this, his executive orders. One of the ones that made me smile the most was Executive Order number 14171, which ended DEI in the federal government.
Wow.
Dave, we've had our noses rubbed in this garbage for the last 4 years, increasing every day.
Yep.
And our very own military, who's the best in the world, has been hobbled by this garbage. I'm so pleased that he has kicked that out. All of the DEI folks who are in management positions were put on paid leave for a little while until they could be terminated. Some of the places, including the State Department, have decided, well, we can keep this program running. Let's just call it something else. So in one case, a DEI manager has been turned into a senior executive. That's not going to fly. Right. Not going to fly at all. Sorry, you need to get in the unemployment line. Birthright citizenship. Now, this is a 14th Amendment issue that's going to end up in front of the Supreme Court at some point. What Trump did by executive order was end birthright citizenship. And of course, a federal judge almost immediately put a temporary stay of execution on that.
Even further, he said, this is a terrible thing. You can't do this. This is so beyond the Constitution, but it really isn't, is it?
It isn't. And here's the bone of contention on this thing. If you read the 14th Amendment, the actual text that is important in that with regard to this is, and I quote, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, end quote. One would argue that an illegal alien is not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. They do owe allegiance to their country of origin. This is going to end up in front of the Supremes. Now, I was pretty sure when I saw Trump sign that there was lawsuits pending on it. You can bet there's a whole slew of lawyers lined up to try to refute each and every one of these executive actions. Trump expected that. I expected that. This is the way the Democrats do it. This is lawfare still being showing its ugly head. If you get something that might be pretty good for the country, you file a suit, get a temporary injunction on it, and now it's in the courts. And the Democrats know that the courts grind along very slowly. So it may be years before any of this actually reaches fruition. I think the Trump Justice Department is going to operate a whole lot faster than the Biden Justice Department. I think we're going to see action on this pretty quickly. Okay, the 14th Amendment, if you look at the history of this thing, the pertinent part of it is the following. It was enacted to make slaves or former slaves and children of former slaves citizens of the United States.
Bingo.
This was intended to bring some closure to the Civil War.
Sure, and to slavery.
If you read the texts that went around that, the discussions that occurred in the Congress and things that were written about that, it had absolutely nothing to do with children of foreign-born people being citizens of this country. Absolutely not. That was later decided in the court.
In fact, there probably, because of that, there is no law sanctioning this.
Well, there is jurisprudence. There have been court cases decided that suggest that a child born of foreign parents, born on United States
it's not constitutional.
It is not part of the Constitution, nor is it part of the 14th Amendment.
And one would think that would be necessary for this to be upheld.
You're going to see this in front of the Supreme Court post haste.
Well, let's see what they do.
It's going to happen pretty quickly. As an aside to that, though, one of the arguments that the folks that are pursuing this have made is that Congress did not establish a law that says it's not illegal for a child of foreign-born nationals to be a citizen. So Representative Brian Babin, who is a representative of Texas, has filed the Birthright Citizenship Act, which would solidify the 14th Amendment and bar children of illegal aliens from being citizens. Now, whether this thing ever sees the light of day or not, who knows? It may never get out of committee. But at least we've got a representative there that says, yes, it is Congress's job to straighten this out. And here I filed a bill to do just that.
Well, now's the time to do it, isn't it?
Good for you, Brian. Good for you. But that little bit of text, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, is what this thing is going to hinge on when it gets into the courts. This is something, I mean, it sounds boring as hell, but this is something I'm going to sit on the edge of my seat and watch, because it is tremendous.
With the ease of which people can invade this country.
Yes. It's
the protection of our borders.
It boils down to just that, Dave. It's oversimplified, but that's really what's happening.